organized by PricewaterhouseCoopers. So they did a study to look at the impact of the TPP on companies in Malaysia. So it's something that you have to probably have some time reading about, especially the PwC report, because they go into detail on the sectors that will benefit the most for TPPs, for TPP. Just a summary of what the report says. From 2017 to 2027, sorry, got one extra zero there. I wish my salary was that much. So our GDP is expected to increase by 107 to 211 billion because of TPP. Without TPP, we don't know. It's not going to be that much. But with TPP, yes. So you see a growth in GDP. So that's something to look out. That means people will buy your product. We need to manufacture. We need to create services. Okay. The percentage increase is minimal, but there is an increase, 0.6 to 1.15. This is only TPP, not other, no RCEP or ASEAN or all other 13 other FTAs that we have. Then there is going to be an increase in investment by 136 to 239 billion. One sector, just for me to share with you, is the textile sector. Okay, in Malaysia, we are the largest polyester, yarn polyester in the world. But when you do fabric, when you do textile, you need wool. You need wool, you need other than polyester, you need cotton. But we cannot export and get preference for things that we don't produce. If we import from China, we make it here, we send to TPP countries, you will not get the preferential duty. No, it has to be yarn forward. Yarn, fabric, cut and sew. 3 process. If it's done in Malaysia or any other TPP countries, you get preferential duty. For instance, for shoes, export to US is 45% duty. 45% duty. But if we can make the shoes in Malaysia, using some of the processes, it's going to be 0. That means your product will be 45% cheaper without the duty. That is just for shoes. Okay? Textile duties for the US ranges between 2.3% all the way to 45%. Depends on what you're exporting. Okay? So there will be an increase in export. Definitely there will be an increase in import, but you see the increase in import is higher than export. So we're thinking because the people of Malaysia are richer, probably there will be more imports of consumer products. Okay, more than 90% of economic gain driven by reduction in non-tariff measure. Now, people think about TPP as reducing your tariff. No, non-tariff barrier is the #1 problem for SMEs. Because, for instance, SMEs always complain, why is it so easy for other countries to come and do business in Malaysia, but very difficult for our SMEs to go and do business in other countries? For instance, Indonesia. Take our neighbor Indonesia. I'm sure some of you are exporting, especially the pharmaceutical products to Indonesia. What is the difficulty? Tariff, not a problem. Non-tariff measures. They come up with standards, rules and regulations, customs. So these are the biggest issues for SMEs. But in TPP, these are the biggest issues that we are going to tackle for SMEs. Make it easier for our exports or our producers, exporters to go out and do business. Oops. Okay. These are the 10 sectors identified by Pricewaterhouse that will gain much benefit from TPP. But there are other sectors outside of this because they didn't have time to do all sectors. But these are the major sectors that will have the most benefit from TPP. Textile, electrical, electronics, automotive, plastic, wood products, construction, retail, palm oil, pharmaceutical, oil and gas. At the moment, maybe oil and gas, some problem lah. But hopefully later on lah. But better, in the next 2 years, if you can just make yourself present in those countries, when the economy the cycle has improved, maybe you get a better leverage on that. But these are studies, not something picked up from the air. These are studies, identified sectors that will benefit SMEs in the TPP countries. Okay, I mentioned earlier to you about some of the chapters that talk about SMEs. No other FTAs talk about SMEs, only in TPP. I will tell you where they are. Okay, SME chapter, chapter 24, specific mention. 2 things that we need to do. #1, we need to have a interactive web for SMEs. The problem with SMEs when exporting is we don't have information. How can I export to Japan? For those first timers, those who are already exporting, no problem. Okay, to Japan. Can anyone tell me which companies are in Japan now? Malaysian companies. Very difficult kan? Tak ramai kan? Okay, there's Berjaya, there's YTL, Petronas, 41.4% of our exports are oil and gas, LNG. In Japan, there are some restaurants. There's Brahim is there, and there's one Malaysian restaurant just opened in November, December. What is that? Wahidana, something like that. So it's very small, but with TPP, hopefully we can expand more. But the difficulty is, how can I do business in Japan because the website are all in Japanese? So we have to have a website common to all TPP countries only on how to export to Japan. So information is very expensive. For instance, EIU report. Okay, EIU report are being used by many companies to do business before they go to one country. You know, they do their research on that. One report is $3,000 US. So you times 4 is 12,000 ringgit. So that's a lot of money for one SME. You know, 12,000 you can buy raw material, you know, for your production. But this information will be made available in this website for you. If you don't believe me, you go to the AMP, ASEAN Marketplace. It's a private sector initiative initiated by Telecom Malaysia, Akazia, the group. There's 8,400 companies registered, ASEAN companies registered in their website. There are 3 phases there. First phase is to register ASEAN companies. Second is the marketplace, where companies, SMEs, between SMEs, they can do business online. And the third phase is the payment. Now payment is a problem. Gateway is a problem because it's very difficult sometimes for Malaysian companies to actually do payment with Philippines because we don't have that financial protocol with Philippines. But our banks in Indonesia, in Vietnam, we can do because there is CIMB and there's Maybank. Countries where we have our banks, no problem. But we are working towards that. But AMP, ASEAN Marketplace, have a look at it. Register yourself there and try to do business there. Okay? Not all companies can be there, only ASEAN companies, registered companies. So we try to avoid all these problems, this fraud. Okay, in this chapter it says there must be a committee. So 1 year after we enter into force, we will have to form a committee with all 12 countries, 12 TPP countries, and we have to think about how can we help the respective SMEs in all 12 TPP countries. So that's a commitment for Malaysia to do. Okay, so you have a problem, we say this TPP is no good because it's killing our electronics industry. Why? So we find out why and what we can do to help improve that. Okay, so it's something that we have to do, commitment. Okay, it's being mentioned in the SME specific chapter. This is the AMP I was telling you about. There's another one, the ASEAN SME. This is the ASEAN Secretariat official website. Okay, a lot of information about government rules and procedures in ASEAN countries before you even venture into an ASEAN country. These are the things that we have to do among TPP countries. We have to establish this website, both private sector or government, for SMEs. Okay? Now, one thing about TPP is that we don't want countries which are not member of TPP to benefit. For instance, China. I have to say this, China. We have a problem with textiles, transshipment, come to Malaysia. They don't even come to Malaysia. They're still at the sea, you know. But they just exchange document there, then it becomes Malaysian product, then go to US, we have a problem. Okay, not only textile, but prawn, freshwater prawn from Sabah, Sarawak. You know, the US buggers, they come here, they go to Sabah, they take the water, bring it to US, they will coat all the water from Malaysia, they know. So if you transship your prawn from China, you go to US, they will thaw the prawn, take the water sample and compare. They will know it's from China, that's how they know. But we don't have that capacity yet lah. But they know. So don't tipu them lah. Okay. Capacity building and cooperation. This is the commitment. We have to do capacity building to help SMEs. Okay. So every member must help other members. Okay. So the US have to help us, Canada have to help us if we have problems on how to develop our SMEs. Okay. There will also be a committee. Okay. Committee, not in Malaysia, no, in TPP country. We have to meet once a year to talk about how do we help SMEs. So, okay, more work for us, but good for you all. Pembangunan development, okay. Women is specifically mentioned about women, and commitment for countries in TPP to help women for the capacity building, access to pasaran, technology, another committee that we have to be involved. So a lot of committees, but we have to do it because we have to optimize our opportunities in TPP. Rules of origin. Now, rules of origin for TPP is the only rules of origin in the world that has 4 rules for you to choose. In ASEAN, you have wholly obtained, and you have the PSR, product specific rule, or you have the regional value content. Okay, it's a build down method, but in TPP there's four formulas that you can choose: build up, build down, net cost, and there's another one I can't remember. Okay, so there's 4 formulas that you can choose depending on what product you are exporting. Okay, there are 10,500 lines in the rules of origin for TPP. I negotiated all 10,500 lines. Headache. So it's a bit complicated. Probably what we'll have to do, MITI will have to do, is have workshops to try and teach you how to use the rules of origin. You have to learn, because if you don't learn, then China will take advantage of this. Then your product will have to compete with China, because they are all transshipment through Malaysia. We don't want that. We don't want products from Korea, Taiwan to take advantage of TPP. So we want the product to be of our content, TPP content. Okay, memberi kelebihan pada PKS untuk melaksanakan proses remanufacturing. So remanufacturing is emerging industry in Malaysia. It's very important. So we want to help our SMEs do remanufacturing. So the rules of origin in TPP have a special rule on this, so that you can identify whether your activities fall under remanufacturing or not. If it falls under remanufacturing, then you get the preferential duty. Preferential duty, you tahu kan? If the duty in the US, the MFN rate, most favored nation rate is 5%, in TPP is 0%. Okay, that's what it means. So you fulfill the rules of origin, then you get your duty. Now, when I negotiated the rules of origin, I made sure products which are sensitive to Malaysia that we want to protect. For instance, let's say steel. Okay, steel. We have the high grade steel, low grade steel. The Malaysians, we produce hot roll. So we protect the hot roll steel. We make it difficult for countries to export to Malaysia. They have to fulfill this. But products that we don't have sensitivities, for instance, barbecue set lah. Barbecue set, not sensitive lah. So that one we make it easy, because nobody is producing in Malaysia. I know many are assembling, okay, but not making here. So those things I relax saja. But things are sensitive, I protect. I make it difficult for us, for people to come in. Okay, other focus, other areas in the TPP. There's competitiveness, state-owned enterprise. For state-owned enterprise, they have to. Okay, I repeat, they have to allocate 40% of their procurement for purchase of SME products. So that's good. It's written now in the agreement that SOE, state-owned enterprise, must buy 40% of the procurement from SME. So it's very important. Okay. Government procurement, definitely, we are saying that there must be certain proportion for SMEs. We are making it written commitment that it must be done that way. Okay. So government procurement now, one thing good about TPP is, in all 13 of the 14 FTAs that we have signed, TPP is the only free trade agreement that we have committed ourselves for government procurement. So only in WTO also we didn't commit. We are closing our government procurement market. What does it mean? That means our SMEs now, okay, people criticize me also, they can now enter into other TPP government procurement. Let's say for the US. This is where people criticize me, but never mind, let me explain. I tell them, our SMEs now can sell to the US government, not only federal but state government. This is what people, the US government have asked. They want to buy uniforms for their prisons, for their companies, prison, betul uniform, bukan saja uniform, those overalls semua tu kan, okay? Palm oil, they want to buy palm oil because sometimes the canola oil, the seed oil they don't get a good price. Palm oil sometimes is cheaper, so they want to buy. Not in America, but in countries where US is giving foreign aid. So they buy palm oil. Okay, it's cheaper to buy from Malaysia and send to maybe Iran or countries that have all these calamities in the world. Okay. Number 3, halal product also. They're having problem where they send American products to Islamic countries, but it's not halal. You sell now, but they don't want to eat. Okay. So what happened? Black market. So halal is another thing. The other one is solar panels. We used to be the 3rd largest solar panel manufacturer in the world. There are still some solar manufacturers in Malaysia. They buy these solar panels to recharge their military equipment. This is one criticism I get. Why are we selling solar panels to America so that they can kill other people? I also cannot answer that one. What to do? They buy the solar panel, they recharge their military equipment for their usage, the radios, the lighting, communication equipment. What can I say? Okay. Then electronic products that we produce, machinery, okay, can be bought by the US government. So these are opportunities. But some SMEs come and tell me, how can I, as a small company,